Good afternoon. I hope my voice is audible.
Yeah, hi, Shasmu. Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir. You can start the session.
Sure. Just a moment. Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. Yeah, hope you all are doing good. Yeah, let's continue. Yeah, into our day three of the FDP on Agentic AI, right? Where we actually step into the concepts related to AI agents, and building agents. Yeah. So initially, day one, we did have a brief introduction about Gen AI, LLM, right, and everything related to it, right. Yesterday, what we did was we built a RAG-based agent, right, entirely how we can build a retrieval augmented generation setup, how we can have a RAG chain, and how we can build a RAG-based agent is what we are seeing. So we could call that part as a agentic RAG chain that we had created. Yeah. So I'll start with a recap of that part before we actually go into building some other types of agents. So we did have a RAG-based agent that we created. Now today we'll see mostly of a how we can build a tool calling agent. Right, we'll understand a few of the tool calls and decorators. How we can build a tool calling agent. Yeah. So then we'll be implementing the React pattern within the agents, which is a thought, action, and observation steps within LangChain, how we could do that. Under the tool calling, we'll see about how to create a simple tool like a calculator, how we can create a search tool, how we can create a custom tool, maybe a weather-based tool, right? All of that. Right. Hence, we'll have a React agent implementation that we will do with LangChain. Towards the end, right, we'll also see a no-code, low-code platform demo, which is an automation platform called Anything. Yeah, that depending on the time and how we are most likely to finish, right? So we'll see a complete demo based on that. Okay, as to how we can create workflows or agents even without any of the code. That's what we'll do for the day. And again, tomorrow we'll come back and then we'll implement multi agents and enterprise agent systems, right? Wherein we will understand how enterprise AI agents, right, how they work, what is the multi-agent architecture, how is it different from a simple LangChain agent, and we'll go further to what is LangGraph. Yeah, that's going to be the flow for the next 2 days, and then we'll have the MCP and A2A communications as well with the MCP architecture, A2A architecture, agent-to-agent communication, and how we can connect the agents with the enterprise infrastructure. So that is the second part of our entire FDP. Yeah. So the initial part, I think we are all clear. GenAI, LLMs, and RAG part. Now, RAG-based agents were done. Now we are starting with the LangChain-based AI agents. Okay. So I'll quickly share my screen. So we'll be going back to the previous RAG-based agent system. Let me just share my screen. One moment. Yeah. So I think we were on this, wherein we're trying to understand. Okay. So earlier we tried to understand how the LLM invoke works. And then we went on to setting up the Gemini's API keys, right? So we also went on to setting up the Grok API key, right? We imported, installed Grok, and we built a RAG-based AI agent, and which had a document loader, yeah, which could load documents based on various tools. Right? It could take a PDF, it could take a Word document. So this one was just of a PDF. Then the second step in here was of chunking, was of text splitting. How we can have a recursive character text splitter, right? Then embedding generation, embedding creation, wherein from the words or from the sentences, we could actually create vector embeddings or vector representations. Further, we took about vector stores, right? We took files-based vector stores. Yeah, so files here stands for Facebook AI similarity search, because we were looking at similarity search because we want to retrieve data based on that search keyword arguments for a similarity. Last step was creating a rack chain. So this is of create a rack chain agent. Yeah. So we build a LangChain agent or LangChain chain. So that will combine all of the retrieve document chunk, send them to the LLM, and finally we invoke the result from the RAG-based system. This is what we did. Yes. So those were the 6 steps that we had followed. Yeah, in terms of a RAG-based system. Correct? Yeah. So before we start further, do you have any confusions up to this part? Were you able to understand and figure out what exactly we did here with the RAG-based agent? Any confusion so far, anyone? Or any inputs, right? If you've gone through from the previous sessions. Yeah. Any comments? Okay, let me just see the chat. Yeah, anything you can put it in the chat as well. No comments. Okay. Can we make a language translator agent? Okay. Firstly, for that, we need to have a language translator API. It's possible, but we need a API which is there for free. Like example, if I take Google, right? If I take a Google language translator API, that is not free. If I take AWS, that is not free. They do provide us with the APIs, but none of those things are free. And if you have a free and open source translation API, you can use that. And how can we create an agent based on that? I will be teaching you further. And we have something called as a tool call. Using custom tool calls, we can create. That is what is our agenda. How we can use any API that is available. Now, if it's free or paid, that's a different story. But you have an API and you want to utilize that API, how to use that, I will be showing today. Okay. DeepSeek is free for API. Don't think so. There's a limit to that as well. Or maybe the API is. Yeah, when you take, there is a pricing limit for that, the official DeepSeek API. But I think it's almost like OpenAI's API. It's not too expensive, but there is a charge. It's not completely free of cost. You can't be using it like that. Yeah. So initially you get free tokens and you have a free trial kind of a thing. A credit will be that, but it is not free. Okay. Yeah, because when we want API, see, using the tool is a different thing. If you go to deepseek.com and you and use their model as a tool on their actual website, right, or wherever is their DeepSeek model available, there you can use it. But the moment you go into a API LLM call, most of it are priced. Most of it are paid ones. There are hardly any free ones. Those are the two options which we have used for the free ones. One is Gemini's model, one is the Grok model, right? Because most of the other things, everything is coming in the paid versions. Okay, they do have the same kind of codes that you can import and that you can take. Yep. Now, when you take DeepSeek for the DeepSeek API, right? So their API key is also, if you want to import it with LangChain, there is no direct official, what do you say, code to write like LangChain underscore Grok. Like that, there is no LangChain underscore DeepSeek. You have to import it from OpenAI. Within that, you have to take the API and then you have to take it. And then you have to do a API call. But then again, the problem with that is that API is also not a free one, as far as I know, because it's a paid one. Okay. Yes. Further, now what we'll do is we'll try to understand a few things about tools and then tool calls, right? When we actually use a RAG based agent. And further, if you want to build a React based agent, that's what we'll do next. We'll be building a React based agent, right? How we could actually be taking a tool call is what we'll see here. Now, we could actually be building up a web app. Like I told you, we have web apps that we can build either by using Streamlit or by using Gradio as two of the frameworks, right? One is Streamlit and the other one is Gradio, is allowing you to create Python web apps with a UI. Okay, all of these agents and everything that we build, right, we can actually put it up there. Okay, so here's what we'll do. I'm going to first show you one example with Streamlit. Okay, so we install Streamlit. And then I have a code that I'm gonna paste it here. Just a minute. So this agent, RAG-based agent, which we just created yesterday, right? So to take that agent into consideration, now, right, how can that agent look like? How will it work in a UI, in a user interface, right? So in order to understand that, right? So I will be creating I have the codes. I'm just going to show you the code, right? So that we could use to build a app. Okay? Just a minute. Yeah. Now, here is that code. So we built a Streamlit app. We just have one app wherein we are writing all of these codes, the same things, recursive character, text splitter, the embeddings, we are using Grok. For the vector store, we are using Fez, right? All of these things we keep using. Now, once we use that, we are enabling a file upload We are saying ask a question. And once we have that, we are taking a retriever using Grok with our API key, and we are asking it to work similar to a RAG-based system. This is a RAG-based system, a RAG-based agent that we have. It will process the document, ask for a file upload, right? It will perform all of the steps, and then it will give us whatever question we ask. Okay. So let me just run this. Okay. So now when I just take something like this, a Streamlit run, right? So whatever is the command. Now see, this Streamlit runs perfectly on local environment. Yeah. And then the moment I put it on collab, if I just do this run, right? If I just do this run, right, it doesn't work. You can see here. It's not going to work. It will throw an error. So instead, what we could do is we can just use this Streamlit run app.py, and then we expose it to a local tunnel environment. Yeah. It says it needs to install, and then it gives us a link. So there's this one extra step, one or two extra steps that we need to do if we are doing it on collab, which is why, if you remember, I told you best is to run this on your local system instead of on collab. Okay. Okay, we'll just have to wait a little bit. And I'm just trying it with this. If not, I'm just gonna go head over back to the VS Code. Yesterday was online, got disconnected. Okay. Yeah, Surojit, let's check with the hosting team. So what we'll do here is, since this thing is just having a timeout, I am going to take this. Yeah, let me just take it to the VS Code editor, and then there we can actually see how this thing runs. Yeah. So suppose we have this on the VS Code or on Python, anything. It just needs a Python file. Look at it. So there is a Python file that we have created. So we just need an interface to run this file locally on the system. Because the moment it goes to collab, right, what happens is, this is the problem. The link, it may or may not work at times. Yeah, that's the issue, which is why I suggested you install Streamlit. Streamlit has this one issue with Collab directly, that the tunneling interface doesn't work right every single time. Yeah, it works. Sometimes it doesn't work as well. So we can't verify on that on Collab, which is why my first thing when I said that you take this, it's not necessary that you put it on Collab. Yeah, it's not necessary on Collab. You do it on VS Code, it is better for your production environment. You get a UI, clearly you get a UI that you can use. Okay. Yeah. Okay, just one moment. Just trying to run it there. Okay. Meanwhile, anybody heard about tools and decorators within Python? Any idea? What is a tool? What is a decorator within Python? Meanwhile, I'm just gonna retry this. Okay, it worked on Streamlit before. Now it's not responding here. Yeah, it has some what do you say, tunneling dependencies and issues. At sometimes it does happen, right? Which is why I kept that Streamlit on Collab is a problem. It's not a problem when you use Streamlit locally, right? So that has not got too much of an issue. But the moment you go out on Collab, right? So it requires that access here, right? So that time some things works, some things doesn't work. But if you are on localhost, no problems. It works fine. Okay. Right? Which is why I said you take this locally on VS Code or on Python, ideally any of the other editors, it works fine. It has got not too many issues. Okay. Yes. Just for this part or completely not an issue. Right? I'll show you that on VS Code. And I'm just trying to run up that VS Code. It's still not responding. So I'll do that. Give me about a few minutes. Yeah. I'm downloading this file. I'll put it on VS Code and then show it to you guys as to how this will work. Okay. Now, if you can see, now I'm just switching to VS Code. It is now loaded. Let me just share that screen. Yeah. Okay. Say take that entire code in here and I put it on VS Code, wherein it'll just build a Streamlit web app, a demo file for me, right? So it just needs to create that line file, write file. Okay. So it has created a demo.py file. The only file. One moment. Okay. I think our location is incorrect, which is why. 1 minute. I'll just go to some other folder. Right. Open folder. Just a moment. Right. Let me just go to the downloads folder. Right. Don't save. So maybe we are creating that in the wrong location. That is a restricted folder, which is why we got this. So initially, in this downloads folder, I'll just create a new file. Yeah. And within this, create a new Jupyter notebook. Okay. Now within this notebook, I am going to put that same code, a demo.py file. I just want a demo.py file. So in order to run this, it needs a kernel, it needs a environment. So there is our environment. So this is the earlier setup that we need to have. On Collab, all of these things ready to use. Yeah. But one time the setup is done, this works for the production environment. Yeah. So if I just take a Streamlit run demo.py, yeah, writing demo.py. Okay. So if I give a Streamlit run demo.py, that should now try and execute this. Now it will also look for all of the installations. It needs a Streamlit installation. It needs a, what do you say, LangChain based installation, everything. But this will now open up on the website, right? So it will just say, I need to make sure all of the things are installed in here correctly. So I'll just take one thing and I will make sure that I have all of the dependencies installed. Yeah. Like a LangChain community and maybe like a LangChain framework, whatever are the frameworks. So I'll just take all of those things installed. Yeah. LangChain community, LangChain text splitters, right? Everything required for the RAG based agent, which all are available, right? So I'll take that. Yeah. So this is one line that I'm gonna take. So it gives an error. You can see here, no module name LangChain community is the error that we had got because on my VS Code that is not there. Yeah, which is fine. Okay. So let me install this. Let me also install all of the other dependencies that we had taken. So on a Mac, it takes as a pip3 install. Yeah, LangChain core request, PyPDF, Langsmith, all of the other dependencies which we want, which we have that I've put earlier, right? So we can just install everything. I did not find LangChain community. Why did it not find LangChain community? Because somewhere here we have used the LangChain community as the option. We also need that PyPDF as the loader, right? It needs a chat grok. It needs a Streamlit, right? It needs all of these dependencies, grok, GenAI, community, text splitters, right? PyPDF. Streamlit, temp, file, OS, every single thing out of it, right? It needs to be installed. Yeah. Now that we've given this, it should install all of them. And you see here in the background, it has given us the app. Yeah, it has given us the app, but then it says no module name LangChain community. And this is running on localhost, so we had no issues hosting this. Correct? So we'll just go back here. Yeah, maybe in another 2-3 minutes, this should be done and we'll have our app ready. Okay. So you get the idea as to what all things we can do within this. Setting up on Collab versus setting up here, right? So the reason I went to Collab initially was so that everything is just ready to use. But then when you want to deploy an app, it becomes a problem when you use it with Streamlit, which is why our next example will come with Gradio, which runs within Collab itself. Yeah, we won't have any issues the moment we run Gradio because that runs within Collab. Okay. So I've created that. Okay. So quickly what we'll do, we'll just go ahead to the next thing, which is how to work with tools. Let this run and install in the background, right? So we'll wait for that. Next, let us just go to understanding what is a tool call, right? How can we work with tool calling agent? Yeah, what exactly is a tool as well as a tool call? Yeah. When you look at a tool and a tool call, right? So a tool is nothing but just this. It's a decorator. And within that, you generally have a function. That's how simple a tool call is. Okay. So I'll just show you one example for this. Yeah. Yeah, what topic we are doing today is tool call, and then building a AI agent by using the different tools. Okay. So now you can just see here from langchain underscore core dot tools, I can just import tool. Yeah, I define a tool. One moment. I'm just disabling AI support on Collab right now. Yeah. See here, I have a function that I will be defining. For example, what does this function look like? I can create a simple calculator agent. I can create a simple calculator based function so that I have a tool, right? I create a tool for a calculator and then it just does addition, subtraction, looks very simple like this. So I say A int, comma, B int. So I take A and B and then I just give an output saying output expect it in float. So this is the function that I'm defining. Given two numbers, what should this tool or this function do? It should perform addition. Okay. So it returns A plus B. Simple function. These three lines are clear. Def, we have given parameters saying that add A and B. And then after that, we are saying give us the output in float. Take integers, give float once you do the addition. This is a function. And the moment you add it with the langchain core tools dot tools import tool, this becomes a tool. Now maybe this will give an error because langchain core is not installed on this right now. See, this is one problem with Collab. Every time you run, yesterday we had installed this, but today again I need to make sure I have installed all of these things at langchain hyphen core. Yeah, or maybe I think spelling was wrong there. When I install, I did install it, but then there was a spelling mistake, which is why it didn't come. Yeah. So I take langchain underscore core dot tools. So langchain is that. Langchain core is also that, but my spelling was wrong. Yeah, we can have a requirements.txt as well, or just one single line at the beginning. Now, the reason I'm showing it to you individually is because we need to know where exactly we are using it. We can have a requirements.txt as a separate file. Yes. Or we can add just everything in the first single straight line. That is also possible. Yeah. But as of now, we are learning it for the first time. We don't know where to use it. Correct. So I'm just trying to invoke this add.invoke, wherein I have a is 2. I say 3, and then I take b is to 5. So once I have 3 and 5, it will add, give me a 8. A simple function call. And I'm just invoking it with a simple function call. But then what happens here was, once we invoke it with a simple function call, it will give us a response. But since it's saved in a tool, it can be used in the LLM and process it like a AI agent for a tool call. So it does a tool reference as well as a tool call. Okay. So this is how you define a simple tool. Now for this, till now, no difference. Till now, no difference. We know how a function works. It is the same function that we did. Instead of using add of some number, we would add dot invoke of some number. Yeah. Now, where is this tool being used? How is it even relevant? Yeah. Chain underscore grok, import chat grok. One moment. Let me just see if I've installed all of the dependencies or not. Yeah, this is the problem. This line is not executed. Yeah, the requirements.txt or the dependencies line, because of which we are facing a few issues. The API key, the installation, and all of that is yet to be resolved. Okay. Meanwhile, we can see this. The local host on Streamlit, the RAG-based agent app, what we had taken for installation and for it to run, right? Right. So we can see this. So you can see this RAG-based assistant, the app that we had created on Streamlit. This is that Streamlit app where you can upload a file, you can ask a question, it will give you the references from the document. Right? Example. I just upload one file. So there is a white paper for introduction to agents from Google. It's about just a 2 pages or something. I wanted to summarize this white paper. Yeah, let me just take this and then let me process this document. This is an app ready to use. You can further deploy it on the cloud as well. Let's see. It's a PDF file. I'm uploading PDF file. So I asked it summarize this white paper. So it created, and it will try to give you a summary for a RAG-based system. So this used what? A file upload and splitting, chunking, processing. Then it does the retrieval. And after it does the retrieval, it should give us the summary or the responses, right? Now, what does a tool do? Tool is also going to act in a similar way. Okay, I think it needs the API key from Google, which is causing the last error for this RAG-based system. So it needs a Google API key for the embeddings. Maybe that is not set. Okay, so again, going back to the code, we have to set the API key. Sorry, I'm going a little to and fro. Like going to this, coming back here. But it is with the API key setup that maybe it is not done here. Yeah, just a minute. Okay, now that I've updated that, let me just rerun this. Okay, as you can see now, again, the RAG assistant is that here. So we can ask the question, give the file, summarize the document, process it. It will create certain chunks. And after that, it will take the LLM and then give us the response. Yeah. Okay, it needs the Grok LLM as well. Okay, something with the rate limits. Anyways, no problem. We'll come back to this. We'll come back to the RAG part, that demo working later on. I think something with the API there. No issues. We'll finish off our tool-based systems right now. Okay, just because of going to the VS Code and that dependency issue, right, might have caused some problem there. So I'll review that. I'll come back. Okay. We need to press the document twice. Once it will create the chunks, next time it will give you the responses. That's all. That is what we need to do. Okay. Now see here. Once I took this tool call, right, coming back to the tool, right? When you finish off this and then we can go back there. Once we get to this tool, this is a simple function, correct? I do a add.invoke. Yeah. Then I use an LLM, right, which is the chat grok LLM, which is there. And once I have this LLM, right, so you can actually see that the LLM is ready. This is the model. This is the API key. We need to additionally mention that, okay, we are consuming the tools in here. So there is a tool choice available within this. So we're saying, yes, I want to use a tool. Right? Based on the tool, I want some answers. Yep. It's now saying based on the tool, I want some answers. Now for this, I think Grok API key not defined. So we need that other line as well. Correct? That we need to run. Right? So the line in here, where we have a Gemini API key call done, where we also have a Grok API key, the call for that also done. This is for Gemini. Once this is installed, this is for Gemini. Right? I'm also taking a Grok API key call. Yeah, which I will keep here itself for my reference. Let me not scroll up and down again and again. Okay, I have a Grok API key, and then I'm doing a tool call. Bushra, I think the code file yesterday was shared with you. I think all of the files were given to you all yesterday on the LMS. On the LMS, the file wasn't that. It should have been uploaded. Please check. It was done, I believe. Okay, I'll have a review. I'll have a check again. No, okay. No, no. Today's code not yet there. I'll do one thing. How about give you a link right here. Because it's a Google Drive shareable link. Let me see. Check within this, there should be a code. Okay. All if you check, you should have the code within this itself. Okay. So I've got the Grok LLM. Right. So now what I'll do is I'll just be creating a simple agent, right, which can probably like take a few of these questions, answer. Okay. Some agent which can do that. Take a simple question, answer that is what we'll try to do. Now, so you have the Grok LLM, right? I have a tool which is defined called as add. So we know that an LLM can respond directly by using its own intelligence, correct? But an LLM can also refer to a tool and then respond. So it has two things that it can do. Yeah. So we wanted to utilize the capabilities of an LLM wherein it can use a tool. Yeah. Now see, let me just make it that it uses the tool and then it tries to respond to the same question. So we created a simple tool here. Yeah. We created a simple tool here. So example like this, if at all I wanted a question to be asked and then the LLM should respond back to me by taking that same question. Yeah. Then what all things I should do? I should write a few steps. Yeah. Like example, I take the Grok LLM and then I say, uh, okay, I'll say LLM with tools. So I'm going to take the Grok LLM and then I will say bind tools, whatever we just took. Take the addition tool. Yeah. So that the LLM right now is having a tool which is binded to it. So what will it do next? If I take LLM with tools and then I do an invoke, I ask a question, hi, how are you? Yeah. This is a regular LLM. So it just says, hello, I'm just a bunch of code. I don't have feelings, but I'm here and ready to help you. How can I assist you? Okay. So here you see few input tokens, few output tokens, total number of tokens used, all of that information it will give you. But in the moment you see there is one option called tool calls, it is blank. Okay. When you see a tool call, it is blank. Now what I'll do is I'll take the same LLM with tools and then I will give a invoke to another message. Yeah. Which is okay, let me try with a regular message here. Can you add 3 and 6. This is simple question that I am asking here. Let me try to invoke this. See, immediately it says AI message. It does not give any answer. It says reasoning. We need to call the add function. So therefore, a tool call is linked. Argument A is 3, B is 6. Name of the tool is add the function. So it says all of the details. Finish reason. Tool call is there. Was there a tool call which was done? Yes. Name of that is add. Arguments were this, total input tokens, total output tokens, and then finally reasoning, whatever is the answer. So then we get a proper response within that. Can you see this? So I've asked this question now. Yep. So now for LLM with tools.invoke. Okay, maybe I just save it to response 1. Yeah. So maybe I save this to response 1. So if I just take this, I need to take response 1 and then I can just try and extract the value here. Yeah, maybe only this value I need to extract, or I may be expecting all of the answers which are coming from this. See, first thing what we did, we specified what is the tool, add. Then we said, take that add, connect it with Grok as a tool. So then we asked Grok a simple question. It did not refer to the tool. Then we asked Grok a question based on the tool. So it referred to the tool and then gave you the answer. Yeah. This is what is the difference. This is what we are actually able to get between a simple LLM and an LLM with a tool call. Are you able to figure out this difference? What is the meaning of tool and how to use it here? Now, a little bit of code here and there. But yeah, this is what it can do. Okay. We'll try to do one more thing there. Last thing. I'll give add.invoke of whatever is the response 1. Let me just see if I can extract it from a tool calls. Yeah. Name add content is 9. So maybe if I just give a dot content, sorry, within the bracket, it should be able to give me that answer also, right? Maybe just dot content, because here we got the tool call. Yeah, just dot content, not with the brackets. Okay. No attribute content. Fine. I think this is enough. Leave that in that case. Whatever we got here, add.invoke. I think this is fine. So it's giving us the response in this. Yeah. Maybe if it was a different thing, 4 and 10. Yeah. Just asking that question. Yeah. 4 and 10, it's giving us that 14 as the value also. Okay. Yeah. So it can just give us this value. Once it does the entire reasoning and everything, it'll give us the final value. Can you add 4 and 10? But then the thing here is, this is just taking up the tokens, the number of tokens. So it's taking 4 and 10 and then giving us the answer. But here you can see these are also the tokens, right? So it's not giving us the answer as such here. On demand, finish, tool calls and everything. It's not giving us the answer. This final thing gives us the response to whatever is your tool. Now, if you ask a question directly, can you add 4 and 10 without the LLM tool? That also works. But for some other custom tools, like if I wanted to extract some weather by using a weather API, that time we would want a tool call to happen. So there, a tool call is advantageous, which we can integrate within our agent. Okay, which we can integrate within the agent here. Clear? Understand how the tool calls work? Yeah, the same thing, we will integrate it within the agent. Yeah, when we are building the agent. Okay. See, right now, this is a very simple tool. Just add, right? So you can create a calculator function, right? An entire toolkit with add, subtract, multiply, divide. And then when you ask your agent to perform addition or any calculator based options, it will do that. Right now, example here is if I take this tool, similar function, if I want to define it for maybe weather, maybe sending an email, are the advanced things that you can do. Right? Maybe if you wanted to set up a flow, if you wanted to give a notification, right? You can use tool-based integrations within our agents. Now for rack system, we used file upload. Right? For this agent, a React agent, we will make sure it does the work, it does the task of whatever we ask it. It will do that for us. Okay. But again, the problem here is not every API is free to use. So right now we are exploring all of the options with the free APIs. Get that? Right, I'll show you a weather-based API and a tool as well. Next. Okay. In the meantime, you all can just probably log into this. Right? If you are coding along, you can sign up. You have a free access to the weather API as well. The ID that I will be using, right? I will be referring to weather stack. I will take an API out of it, and then I will be creating a weather-based tool wherein we ask the agent to just give us the details about the current weather of a particular location. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so we'll take a small break in here before we continue with that part. I think Sushmita has a few things to continue. Sushmita, over to you.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you so much. We'll take 10 to 15 minutes. So, Sheetal, over to you. You can continue.
Oh, thank you, Sushmita. So, good afternoon to all the faculties who have joined in here. So I just logged in 5 minutes back and I myself found the session very interesting. So I believe the session is very engaging and interesting too for you guys. So I won't take a long time. I have joined in here today for a quick discussion on your support as in terms of placement, where you support your students and direct them towards the interview or guide them on how to prepare themselves for the job opportunities in the partnering IT company. So you can see here, we have the faculty development student placement nomination drive, connecting your top students with direct interview opportunities at partner IT companies. So this initiative is from XLR and it is exclusively for students who are deserving enough to guide them from classroom to corporate interview. So what we expect from the faculties who have joined in here is that they rightly identify the deserving students and help us to know each other so that we can help them in cracking their interviews. So let me quickly walk through. The core objective is XLR would want the faculties here to identify their deserving students, connect them to the hiring company. At the same time, We support employability through the CSR-linked hiring, offering fresher packages ranging from 4 to 9 LP. So this is not a mass hiring. It's only for the students who have been chosen by the faculty. Also, this initiative helps strengthen the industry academia bridge while recognizing and rewarding high performing students. So, how are we going to do this? Firstly, we would want to identify the performing students from your colleges, from your classrooms, who have strong communication skills and are willing to take interviews. So, students who also show foundational technical knowledge or the ability to learn very quickly. In short, we are looking to nominate high potential students who are ready to step into the industry. So, these are the benefits they will be availing through this initiative. Firstly, they would be getting direct interview opportunities with the partnering IT companies. As told before, the packages would range from 4 to 9 LP. Additionally, they would also gain valuable industry exposure, resume validation, and real interview experience. We also provide extra support like assessment tests, reviews, and interview readiness sessions. So, this is how the selection and the interview looks like. It starts with the initial screening by XLR based on their skills and role fit. And this is done through different assessments, whether they are fit for the role. So the students will be screened based on their technical knowledge, whether they are aligned with the role, their communication readiness, and many other more. And followed by which the students that they get screened or clear the first level, they will receive interview invites and preparation resources from XLR. Then XLR would introduce the students to the partnering IT companies and they will undergo the interview rounds, that is technical and the HR rounds. Once the student clear all these rounds, they would be offered with the job offer letter and this would be shared directly with the students themselves. So to ensure students are well prepared, XLR additionally provides free interview training, review resume and provide interview tips for the nominated students, coordinate with uh, partner recruiters and scheduling support, and also share the feedback on the student performance and how they can improve themselves. So this initiative is just a part of CSR activity, and we believe that employability is responsibility. So today, we request the faculties who have joined in here to scan the QR code and fill the details, or you can even drop a mail to ftp.placements@xlr.com. And we would want you to mail those students for those deserving students, and from there on, XLR would connect with them and help them with the job interview. So we would share the screen for another 2 to 3 minutes. Interested faculties here who have joined in, you can scan the QR code, you can fill the basic details or any queries regarding, you can scan it or you can even drop a mail to the email which is shown here. The registration link will also be put up in the chat box. So you can just scan the QR code which is shown here.
Yes. So, dear faculty members, the registration link is on chat. I request kindly fill that registration link if you're interested. If any query, our team will connect with you.
So I hope the faculties who have joined in here have scanned the QR code. As Sushmita mentioned, the registration link is also placed in the chat box. So you can even drop your queries there. So that's all from my side. Thank you for your time and support. And we look forward to for your nominations and help your students achieve their successful careers. So thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Shita. As there are some queries, so I request kindly fill the form. Our team will connect with you on the same. So we'll continue with the session. Sir, you can take over.
Okay, sure. Okay. Yeah, regarding the nominations and further details, right? Maybe you can just get in touch with the support team, either Sushmita or Sheetal will be there to guide you. I think once you fill up the form, you can get in contact with them. They should be able to help you out. Meanwhile, if we just come back, I'd given you another link. Would request, I'll give you 2-3 minutes. Would request you all to just sign up for that so that you get your own API. If you're practically doing it along with me, you would need to sign up such that you get your own API from the weather stack. Yeah, that should be another API that you add because I will be using that API in order to get the weather and ask that question to our agent. That's what we'll be doing. Anybody who tried signing up for that? This is how it looks. It's a free API that you can get. I'm having a sign in, so I am logging in here. I have the API also within this. Yeah. So as you can see, this is the API key that I have. It's just a free plan. So about 100 requests per month, which right now is sufficient. It just gives us real-time weather information, but a lot of other things are there in the paid versions. I've used about 3 API calls. I have another 97 for the month. Okay. So you can set up and create your API as well, because within this, for the LangChain based agent, right, we are using a weather based API call. Yeah, if you see here below, there are a few other APIs as well: real-time IP geolocation, email validation, global number validation. Let's Substack as the API of some other APIs. This one is a free one that we could just use. Yeah. Now I go into the collab secrets. I add that as a weather underscore API as well. Weather stack underscore API underscore key. It has been stored in here. Okay. So you take that API key, you copy it here, you paste it within the secrets. Done. If anyone has any issues, let me know. So once you have the API key, right, we will now be creating a tool dedicatedly for this. There are two tools that we'll take. One is a search-based tool. The other one is a weather-based tool. Okay. Now currently, if I just give a add tool, I define a tool. Yeah. And then I create a function which is for weather. Yeah. Okay, before that, I think another import is required. LangChain underscore core dot tools import tool. Right. Def, there is a weather data that I'm taking. It expects city as a parameter. And then when you look at the output, that we are expecting the output also as a string. So we say this tool fetches weather for a given city. Okay. Can you share API key once again? I have not shared the API key because you will have to use your API key. This is the link that I had given from where you can set up and create your own API key that you will be using. You log in, you copy this, your API key, and then you paste it here in the secrets. You can load it here. Yeah. Now, another way, how did I load this? Equals to. From here, I have to load it, right? I need to load it like this. By using google.collab import user data. And then I say weather stack API key user data.get. And this is also saved as weather stack API key. So then next time, whenever I use this key, it has got this keyword. Okay. Now, once I have this, I have a URL for the API call that we're supposed to use. Looks like this. API.weatherstack current access. So this is my API key. Right, 4614 E4A and then ends with B24. That's the API key. Now, like I said, this is the API key, which is that. One more thing, don't share this API key because if you share your API key with someone else and then they use up all of your request, you will be left with none. Okay. So I'll give you the code wherein you paste in your API key and then you just put in this URL. Okay. So it looks like this. You put in your API and then you have this tool ready. Okay, now that this tool is done, right, we have another tool. Search tool. Yeah. So this is directly there from LangChain community. Import DuckDuckGo search run. This is the tool that I'll be using for search purpose. Search tool equals DuckDuckGo search run. This is another tool, right? So it's basically you taking the weather stack API and then you taking the tool here. Okay. And then you put in the DuckDuckGo as the search tool. I've shared it all in the chat. Once you have the search tool, so we will sort of import LangChain agents. Yep. We will import LangChain agents and we will also import Langsmith. So I think if someone has missed, the entire pip install should have this LangChain, Langsmith, all of that. From previous time, I think this one is missing. DDGS is missing. Yeah. DuckDuckGo search is missing. So basically, we need to install all of that LangChain, LangChain core, LangChain community. Anything if you miss, it needs to be there. LangChain Grok, LangChain Gemini, everything. LangChain Google Gen AI, all of these. These are the three things that we have not used before. We are installing it now. But I'm just adding all of the other things also, just for clarity's sake. So it installed everything. It now imported a create agent option from LangChain. So we wanted to build a LangChain agent for this, right? Now, it also needs a predefined prompt from templates. Yeah. So I'm giving you all of these installations also here and the imports also here. So we need a predefined prompt because we are now trying to create a React agent. Yeah, in order to build this React agent, how exactly are we going to deal with it? And it needs some predefined prompt. Yeah, we are loading a predefined prompt from a template, right? We are pulling a prompt called as a React prompt, standard React prompt from Langsmith. Okay, so we want to build a React agent and then we're just pulling out a predefined prompt. Okay. Now, once the necessary prompt and everything is done, we will now create the agent. So how do you create an agent? You just call it as, what kind of an agent it is? Weather agent, for example, equals to, I create an agent wherein first it needs a LLM. So we are using a Grok LLM. Then it needs to know, since it's a tool-based agent, tool calling agent. So we need to know what are the tools. So right now it is a search tool. The second one is a weather tool. Yeah. Now, okay, it's not called weather tool. I think it's called weather data. So that is the second tool. Yeah. What is given here? Weather underscore data. Yeah. So that error will go. Then it needs to know what is the system prompt, which is given here. We call it as prompt template string. So some parameters that we need to feed to the agent. Okay, we feed these parameters to the agent, and next, whatever question you ask, the agent will do the task accordingly. Okay. Done with this? Yeah, attendance link will be shared, I think, in the next 5 minutes. But that anyways you'll get attendance, you get. Nobody was doing along with me in this. See, we have just done the invoke. So I have this question that I can ask to the agent saying agent.invoke. I ask a message. I give it some task, and then I say, this is a role which is of a user. Okay. Now, if I am the user, the content that I give, the question that I ask is a sample question. Okay. And the capital of from some country. India. Then find its current weather condition. And since we have the tool for weather, right? So we are just expecting this. Okay, if you had a different tool, you can ask a different question. So I'll print responses. I think we call this as weather agent. Yeah. Yeah. Let me run this. Yeah, I think you can fill the attendance on your forms. Okay, see, if you are on Google Colab and every time you start using Google Colab, left side, can you see this? They should have an execution number that it is currently active. The Google Colab is just like a plug and play software. It's not installed anything. So anything that you install within this, like a pip install, is just temporary until you run it currently. The next time you go, it won't be there, right? So come back tomorrow, it's gonna not execute. The code will be there, but it won't be executed. Yeah. So we need to make sure that we run that cells again and again. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll continue. Yeah, the attendance link is shared above. You all can just take that. Please scroll up. Yeah, I think I don't know your name, IQOO. Day 2 attendance link will not be there today from what we understood from Sushmita. Uh, that is something that you have to fill on the previous day itself. Attendance on that day, I think they have a thing for 4:30 to 5:30 is when you can fill in your attendance, mark your attendance. Right, Sushmita? I think that is what she had communicated earlier in the chat. Please have a scroll up in the chat and then you should find because someone else also had asked this. Yeah. Yes, Sunil, coming back. Yeah, I think we'll resume. Can you explain the 36th cell? Yes, sure. See, we built the agent here, right? So this is the step wherein we are assigning the LLM, the tool, and the template to the agent, and it has built an agent. Now, this is the agent which does all of the work, okay? Which is called weather agent. So we asked the question to the weather agent, and we gave it a task that it is supposed to do. Yeah. So now, when you take this agent, right? So we gave a message, role of a user, content. We gave it a scenario that this is what you're supposed to do. So initially, it does not give an answer; it gives blank. But then it does a lot of reasoning. We need to answer a question. The question is provided as whatever comes in the input. Okay. We need to produce the format with thought, action. Now, how did it understand it has to do this? It had understood it has to do this because of the React template that it has given, that we have given. React template stands for thought, action as the two main things that it is supposed to do. Yeah. React pattern, thought, action, observation. Okay. We need to use tools if needed is also mentioned because we have a tool call enabled with the agent. Let's see the question. Tool call, question, whatever is the details, it will come here. It says DuckDuckGo search has been used. We need to use that. These are the certain amount of tokens. Yeah, how much time it took, what is the duration, what is the model name, all such details that it has taken. Next, we'll just go ahead, query. I think we'll just take this as messages. Because here, let me rerun this. Yeah, find the capital of India. It's now got the input as well. That's the question. That's the human message, which we put from messages. Okay. So I've taken this. The attendance link has already been shared, guys. Please scroll up. You should be able to find it. Sushmita has already shared it. Okay, let me put it here again. That's your attendance. Yeah. Okay. So from what we can see, we asked this question. We put it as messages. It says find the capital of India, find the weather condition, then go to DuckDuckGo search. Use weather data tool with city as New Delhi. So you can find it has found the capital of India by using DuckDuckGo search tool as New Delhi. From this, use the weather data tool. It is using the second tool to find the weather conditions. Yeah, query is capital of India. Taken from this tool, it uses all of the tokens. It has given all of the details about the tokens, what model and everything further. Yeah. New Delhi is the capital city of India, part of National Capital Territory of Delhi. So these all things are coming in from the search engine, which is DuckDuckGo search engine. Why did we not use the Google as a search engine? Because the API from Google is not available for usage for free for everyone. Understanding? If Google had a free API available for usage, we could have used the Google's API itself. Instead, we are taking an alternative called DuckDuckGo search. Okay. Okay. Now, once you take all of these things, finally, at the end, it will give you the answer. So we can answer the capital is New Delhi, current weather condition, rain thunder at 34 degrees, humidity is this, wind is this, pressure is this, visibility, all of those details. Okay. So this is the answer that you get in the last part of the response. So it has taken about 1400 tokens to do that because reasoning and its thinking itself took about 300 plus tokens. So it takes into consideration all of those parameters. Only then it gives you the value. Let me just see. Can I get response.content? No, there's no response.content as such that we can extract. So this is the answer. So we can answer. This is still the reasoning. See, all of this is still the reasoning part that is actually that here, the search results and everything. It's thinking as to what all things it needs to give. So it's a reasoning content that we have. So I'll do one thing. I'll put a for messages in response of messages. Let me print messages. Okay. So it has asked all of these questions. Yeah, and then it's giving that in a slightly better way. Yeah, all of the tokens and the token detail. Okay. So many times it has run all of these things. Now we are getting the answer. Okay. How about we just put this on a proper user interface now instead of all of this? See, We used Streamlit previously, right? We'll just give a Gradio. Yeah, why so many tokens is because it has used a lot of tokens for reasoning, for thinking, and it does multiple iterations, right? What happens in an agent when you ask an agent to do some work? There is a feedback which is given. Action, feedback. Yeah, I'll just show you that as well. Look at this. This is how our agent works. Human, you do an LLM call. Performs the action, right? So there is a feedback again and again until it reaches and gets the proper answer. So it keeps doing that. Correct? Now, because of this, when you have the entire workflow which is executed, again, there is correction, there is feedback which happens, which takes place with a agent. Okay. So now when you just take a basic components, perception module, learning module, reasoning, action, communication. So the reasoning one is the most important thing here. So this will collect the data. This will learn, it will process, it will adapt. This makes all of the inferences, thinks, reasons, right? And gives the patterns and everything to support the decision making. This will perform the steps, action, executions. It will help run and create the workflow. Finally, this is going to give you the output for interaction and the user interface to ask questions or to perform your task. These are the 5 major components of AI agents. Yep. Yes, if, this all of these things have been shared. Should be there with you guys shortly. Okay, so I think we can go back to that Gradio part then, where we actually build the interface and then we get the agent here. So take Gradio, it's a alternative to Streamlit, something that we can use within this itself. It's something that we can use within Collab. I'm just creating a function here, which is like I take a query. I take the agent.invoke, I save that into a response, wherein the same thing, where I put in messages is to speak about the role. And I'm a user, I'm going to give you some content based on that you have to answer. That's the query. And then I want you to return response. Take whatever are the messages, display the content out of it. This one function that I would need later. I think we're missing a bracket here. Okay, one function is that Now I'll create the interface based on that function here. Based on get response. Okay. Yeah. Also, this is a weather agent instead of just an event. Okay. So the interface for Gradio somewhat look like this interface gr.interface, wherein I create a function which says get response. We have certain inputs, Gradio, and then we put a text box. So within the text box, ask a question where I give this ask a question to your AI agent. And then I'll put a placeholder. Now this placeholder will act like inside of that label. So it'll just act as a placeholder wherein you just give what should be displayed. Example, and capital of a country or state and ask to find weather conditions in current state. That can be a placeholder that we add, that just allowing it about 2 lines of code. Okay. Now coming to the outputs. What kind of outputs? I need a text box for this as well. So we'll give a label and then say response. Output expecting about 10 lines, not more. So we're saying AI agent with DuckDuckGo search access. So it can perform Google search, not Google exactly, but a search. Description is ask your questions to the agent here. Perform tasks here. So that's the description that we'll give. Some examples can be. And so these are just some generic questions, okay? What is agentic AI? I'm just putting up this thing. I think we get this in our LLMs as well. You ask a question, you get follow-up questions. What are the follow-up prompts? You're just asking some follow-up questions. It can be completely random. It can be very relevant. No problem. But this is your interface. That's it. You just say iface.launch and say that, yes, I want to share this. Yeah. So if I put debug equals to true, it will give me what are the errors in the launch part. Okay. So as you can see, we've got this available. Yeah, we have an AI agent with DuckDuckGo search access. Okay. Now we ask a question. Find capital of any country. I think we check for India there. So we'll take Kuwait's weather conditions. Come So let us see what it does. Okay. It has thrown an error. Right. Why exactly? What exactly? That we can just see here. If we give debug equals to true. Okay, wait. First, let me check with this. Won't say India. Maybe just take. I'm in Karnataka, so I'll just check with this. Right, we'll see what it says. Why is it throwing an error? We can just see here. Agent is not defined, right? The name agent, right? So the reason being we had taken it as weather underscore agent. So where have I written agent is something that we have to check now. It says weather underscore agent dot invoke. Launch share equals to true. Response is agent dot invoke in line 2. This is what it has got. So somewhere I had given weather underscore agent and then it's changed to just agent. That I need to check. Okay, let me do one thing. Since this is the standard thing for the Gradio UI, it will make a difference. So let me call it as an agent only because it expects that keyword. So let me call it as agent itself. Let me not call it as a weather agent. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. First, I think I need to stop running this code. Okay, I've not given you this code as well. Hold on, you guys need the code from here. But first, let me take this. We call this as an agent. Agent.invoke gives us the response. Let me call this as the regular agent itself. And then let me use this for the iFace. And then with the iFace launch, let us check. Okay, this is the code which we have within the radio, wherein we have a React based agent or a React agent using LangChain. Uh, Actually, day 2 attendance link, from what we understood, is not active today. So they have created those links only for it to work from 4:30 to 5:30 on the same day. Which is why. We can further check with Sushmita. I think that is what she had told all of us earlier in the session also. That yesterday it was supposed to be taken. Yeah, here you all can see the response coming. This is the question. Yeah, it will take all of that. It will do no action as of now because it just needs an answer. It has to fetch the resources, fetch the answers coming in from here. Capital of Karnataka, Bangalore, and then temperature, maximum, condition, humidity, everything. All of these steps are actually given in here. So this is my AI agent that I've taken. An example questions to ask is these two things. So maybe if I ask what is an AI agent, it will put that in the examples here and it will give me the response here. Now, why is it like this? It's because this is just a regular question that we take from an LLM, right? So it's just doing that here. Getting it? If it has to do some task, then it will do that also. See, give me the weather of capital city of India and send me an email to some example ID about this. See, now I'm asking it to send an email. Can it send an email? We'll see that. I'm sorry, I don't have the capability to send an email directly. You can copy the information and paste it to your email client to send it yourself. If I had added a tool to send an email, it could have done that also. Right now, we don't have an email tool. Understanding how this works? If we had an email tool, it can do that. Now it had a weather access API tool, it did that. If I had an email tool, it can do that also. Right? Which is why our next example will be on N8N, right? Which, like I told you, we'll either do it today if time permits. We didn't have the enough time there for that, but we can keep this for early tomorrow. N8N email and calendar invite agent is what we'll be seeing first thing tomorrow. Okay. This is a no-code platform implementation. So I'll be showing you the demo for that as well. I have a free trial example that I'll take. It's a paid tool, but there is a free trial that we get for about 2 weeks or 14 days. Based on that, I will be showing it to you. Okay. But I think now you're getting an entire picture, entire idea, how the tools work, how you can create an interface. If you have the interface, everything will work in the backend. Yes. And we can build this. It's not too difficult. Yeah. You just need to know what all tools to integrate, how to add it. And this is purely with code. Now, there are a lot of things that you can do without code also. So our focus will be mostly within the coding part. Yeah. But in between, like I said, we will also show you some no code, low code examples also. Okay. So this is how you build a simple AI agent. Okay. We'll stop with this here then. Let me just interrupt the execution because that cell is active. I want to stop this right now. Okay, we'll stop here. Any questions? Yeah, okay, perfect. I think if you were able to understand what I tried to tell you here, that's good. That's sufficient. This is what we were looking at. Yeah. Okay, thank you all. See you in the next session then. Thanks for joining. You can drop.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you all. Thank you for joining. We'll meet again by tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Thanks, Sushmita. Thank you all. Bye.